Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Welcome to the Raiders of the Lost Commentary Podcast.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
The unofficial commentary for your favorite
Get to the chopper!
and not so favorite films.
The famous comedian Arnold Braunschweiger.
Starring your hosts Adam and Matt.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Start your movie in 3, 2, 1.
Warning, this film contains scenes of
blah, blah, blah. So fun fact about Rosebud, Dino Laurentiis, the producer, since the movie is X-rated or R, I think that's what it's called, when it's unrated, right? So he couldn't actually release it on his production company. So he created Rosebud just so he could release it that way.
He's pretty legendary guy like Dino De Laurentiis, right? Like everything good from that area is released. There's always a badge of quality, or not quality per se, but you knew what you were getting into when you saw.
Plus, it's a very known name.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard not to. So right now on the screen, we're watching some Evil Dead 2, looking at the beginning, of course. This is a sequel/remake. It's the first 10 minutes, I think, is technically just recap of what happened in the first one, sort of, and then it just continues on from technically the first one.
It's just the success of the original, they basically just got to remake.
Yeah, well, Stephen King was actually a huge fan of the first one, and one of the main reasons why it did so well was because he wrote a really nice review, and then he learned I don't know how it came upon, but he learned that they needed money for a second one, so he essentially had a discussion with Dino, the producer, and pretty much was you should finance this movie for the sequel.
Awesome. That's really cool.
So they wanted to use the actual original footage from the first movie for the beginning, right? Like the whole thing, but they couldn't actually get the rights to their own movie.
Really?
Yeah. So
it's typical weird Hollywood stuff.
Well, yeah, because different production company, I think. So they reshot the whole thing, and they're in the original script, they're supposed to bring back all the original characters from the first one, not just Ash and Linda, but they're nah, it'll be fine,
right?
Because this is supposed to be kind of completely erasing the first one and being this is what actually happened in the first movie, right? Because this pretty much is a remake of the first movie, at least the first 10 minutes. Because if you remember at the end of the first one, the Evil Dead camera POV grabs him.
Yeah.
And that it ends like that, and this happens 10 minutes in the movie in this one. So it's just this is what happens after.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. It's a weird thing.
I mean, it's sort of like what Robert Rodriguez did with
El Mariachi.
Yeah, he made El Mariachi,
right.
And then this two ones after are basically remaking El Mariachi with a bigger budget each time, So it was sort of the style at that time, they're technically different movies and it's considered a trilogy, but it's he just kept remaking that movie, I love this mullet this woman has, she's supposed to be hot, and then you see her mullet and you're oh.
You know who is hot?
Bruce Campbell.
Let's talk about Bruce Campbell here for a second.
Let me just talk about his chin.
I love his chin. If Chins Could Kill, the autobiography from Bruce Campbell. I really like Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite actors. The overacting is just genius.
I think he's also just one of those guys we like to look at in the indie film world, being from the indie film world. I think he wanted to get into directing, but I think Sam convinced him to be part of the acting part of it. And
really?
Yeah, I think I remember reading that in his book, actually, or hearing that from an interview, because he's since gone on to direct.
Yeah, he
himself.
did the one I remember. I think he directed. There's the movie called the one about himself going into that town. I forget what it's called.
But yeah, just one of those guys, and one of those guys that can do silly stuff like this, but then does what was that one he plays Elvis?
Oh, Bubba Hotep.
Yeah, like a silly idea, but he knocks it out of the park in that movie.
I know, he
It's
was
amazing.
made. He was made to play Elvis.
Yeah, it's just such a good flick.
I like him in like a bunch of stuff. Burn Notice was another thing I really liked him in. I've seen a lot of Bruce Campbell stuff over the years
as well.
So fun fact of the recorder here that's playing is actually one of the few items that actually are original from the first movie.
This POV camera shot is my favorite.
Classic.
I'll often, like, my friends and I will like run up to each other making that like sound.
Kanda. And Linda's gone. Like that it's we're 5 minutes in the movie. Linda's already kind of taken by the Evil Dead, which happens like I think half an hour in the original.
Sorry if you can hear a helicopter flying overhead.
Maybe they didn't. Okay.
Yeah, maybe
now
they did.
they noticed Adam now they're gonna be.
That
looking
was
for
a good segue to maybe just shout out our friends at Hey Down Front, their podcast. If you like film commentary podcast, they do something pretty well similar to what we do, probably a little better. So you should check them out too.
Check them out. Now back to the movie.
Thank you.
This has been a public service announcement.
Is that if we ever had sponsors, that's what we do it like.
We should just do
You tell like something really cool about the movie, and then I'd be like, Burger King. Have you tried the Whopper? Matt has 6 times.
6 times in one evening. It was classic.
It was.
I love the he grabs the shovel and just with the hit of the shovel, the head just comes clean off.
That's how it works back then.
Love it. I love it.
Sam Raimi is the master of breaking shit up into proper cuts, though. You know what I mean?
I know. Like right there where we had the coming towards the screen, goes black, shovel comes in.
Yeah. You can see like Edgar Wright took like big influence from Sam Raimi in the way Edgar like shoots and
always love this angle.
Yeah.
Stabbing the cross into the ground with
and then he puts it on its side to be an X. Because she was an X-Men.
Because she was his ex. She's his ex now because she's dead.
I love this. And this has been talked about a lot, but if you didn't know, the way they got this shot, they bolted the camera on a 2x4, and 2 guys would hold it on either end and just run with the camera.
So right here, you can see the end of the set. Anytime that it goes through the... So right here is pretty much... We've now reached... the sequel. Like he's been taken in, and it ends with him being grabbed.
So silly.
I know. Sam Raimi hit him when he went to go in to grab him. Like I think it whacked him at one point too. There's supposedly a dark figure with horns behind him in this scene when he looks up. Look for it. I was looking into it, and then apparently there's just this thing in the background. It never shows up again.
Just it's there, and they did it. Oh yeah, back there. The makeup's pretty great in this. This was like, was it Greg Nicotero or whatever? Like his early work.
Love the clouds. Look very matte.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't it?
Some reverse shots here. The smoke disappearing. Goodbye,
like
smoke.
classic like low budget indie trick, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just have the.
So it happens twice, right? Like he turns into the Evil Dead, a deadite slightly for about a second. Sun comes up, and he's back to his normal self. And then again, when it happens
dry
again,
ice. It looks really cool in reverse, eh?
it does look cool in reverse. Work shed.
These cabins, they're real places, eh? It's like in Pennsylvania or something like that. Apparently, it's like they've left enough clues that people have figured out how to find them.
Really?
Yeah, and people go and take photos and stuff, and they go to these places. Like apparently, it is in the woods. Like you gotta like.
Yeah, well, I know the first movie, like they just rented the cabin, and I don't think it had any like electricity or water or anything. Like it was very bare bones. So you can really tell what they did with that $300,000 they had in the first film of just I mean, they had no stunt people. Therefore, the stunt people were just the actors getting thrown out windows and hopefully you hit your mark kind of feel to it.
The funding of the first one's sort of interesting, of just Bruce Campbell sort of having a big role in that.
Really?
Yeah, his like dad, I think, is someone in his family or his uncle. They were all dentists, and so they would go around to all these other dentists, and they would get them to pitch in, like, 10 grand here, 15 grand.
It's from
there.
the book.
Yeah. And like, so they just kept doing that, and then trying to find more people. And like in the book, he does like a really good like harken back to like his pitch that he would say to all these dentists, like, well, Mr.
So and
so, like, we got this great script, horror's on the up and rise, like, market looks good that these movies will make a ton of money, and then they go and get all that money, and then they spend it all before the movie's done and have to go back to these people and ask for more money. So like, just the ingenuity, like having to find all of that money one thing at a time, that
the face, demon face
overlay. That's funny. Yeah, Greg Nicotero, like, did the makeup on this, and this is sort of like one of the first things he started out on with, like, Sam Raimi and I think Tom Savini.
Right, I'm familiar with Tom Savini.
But yeah, Greg Nicotero goes on, he does all the Evil Dead stuff basically now. It does Kill Bill. But like, he was starting out with Sam Raimi, but then also started doing stuff with Quentin Tarantino, and then started doing stuff for Robert Rodriguez as well.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, now he's does Walking Dead, and like, he's regarded as the guy for like special effects makeup, like our generation's like Henson or Rick Baker or somebody like that,
Yeah, I love how this movie essentially it's just Bruce Campbell for like a good half hour.
I know, one actor, and he carries the movie the whole time. He
carries it, and that was a big thing too. Of like, it was kind of hard a selling point of. Yeah, it's just gonna be him for like a long time. Like, it's not a really good selling point. We're like, well, that sounds like a bad movie. See, like, look at the bridge.
I know.
Why is the bridge back?
I don't know. This is the Sam Raimi's car.
Yeah, Sam Raimi's classic car. You've seen him, also known as Aunt May's car from the original Spider-Man films.
He has this car in every single movie he's ever made. And
you can almost say he's had Bruce Campbell in almost every single movie he's ever made.
He does have him in every movie, right?
Not every single one, but
like
a lot of them.
One of the new ones, I don't think he made an appearance.
Like, I know he's in Darkman. He plays the last face.
When you see the last face of him.
He plays in all three Spider-Mans as different characters, which was actually supposed to be... because Bruce Campbell was apparently supposed to play Mysterio in the...
in Spider-Man?
In the fourth Spider-Man, and they were kind of gonna go play around the fact that he's been there the whole time.
I love this scene.
And tying all that in as the same person.
Oh, really?
Sort of. This is where you see some of the set right here. See, you could see the
on top,
at the top. You could see where the set ends, like right there. Yeah.
I love this.
I know. Running away from the Evil Dead.
It's just so cool.
And it just shows like how huge this thing is compared to the actually outside of the house too. Like, it's so much bigger.
This was also like, they built this in like a gymnasium or something,
a gym.
like that they could just get access to. Like, they had the gym for like a certain amount of time, and then I don't know. Sam Raimi, like, okay, I'm just gonna have this really long shot reversing now into the woods, into nothingness, basically, right?
And now, and this is really where the like actions kind of happen. Now we're about to see like the movie's about to really begin for me. Like, this is some of my favorite stuff right here. I think everybody's favorite stuff in this film is like, like we've established, okay, the evil's kind of got him. He can't leave. Now stuff's about to happen.
Right.
Linda's coming back. You know, there's the thing with Annie. I think that's her name. And they're supposed to be in Britain.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
That's where they're supposed to be.
Like, this is where this movie's supposed to take place?
Yeah, apparently, because if they travel back in time
Later
to the medieval
on.
times, technically I'm pretty sure it's supposed to take place in Britain, but everybody's American.
Yeah. Huh. That's strange. That's like a really strange.
Yeah, well, I was just reading up on it. I could be wrong, but that's what I read up on.
You know,
I was like, that's odd.
It didn't bother me that he ends up like wherever he ends up in the movie. I'm just like, it's Evil Dead, whatever.
I like Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Big shout out to that movie. That movie's. I love how the first one, it's flat out horror. Second one, they're just like, I mean, I know we want to go for horror, but I mean, let's throw in some Three Stooges in there. Throw some slapstick.
A little bit of that.
And then the third one, Army of Darkness, just goes, let's drop the horror altogether and just go as crazy as we can go.
It's like sort of realizing like people, well, like this is kind of regarded as a comedy now, you know?
I love, Evil Dead 2, as said in previous podcasts, I am not a horror fan. I never was growing up, and I remember this one time, and I was hanging out with some of my friends, and we were playing poker, and at the end of the night, one of them is like, let's watch a movie, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. And someone's like, yeah, let's watch Evil Dead 2, it's my favorite movie ever. And of course, Evil Dead 2 sounds terrifying to little old high school me, and thinking back of, shit, I gotta go home tonight, and my parents aren't there. Like, there's no one at the house. Like, this does not seem like a good idea. But I was like, whatever, you know, obviously you gotta act tough, and you can't be like, no, like, yeah, okay, fine, let's watch it, and maybe I'll try not to pay attention to it. And you start watching it, and starts talking about the Book of the Dead. At first, you're like, okay, and like, it's not really scary.
No.
But
it's just silly.
It's silly, and I really clicked with this movie of really liking that. It does fall a little bit of like it's so bad it's good, but it's done purposely and done so well.
Yeah,
and like Sam Raimi knew what he was doing, you know, like he played off
himself.
Exactly. He played off of his weaknesses and his strengths. And it really shows in the film. But needless to say, Evil Dead 2 is one of the main reasons why I've grown to appreciate and watched other horror films afterwards.
I got into it with film school. That's kind of where I found it.
Really?
Like, people in film school were like, oh yeah, have you seen Evil Dead? It's like one of those things. They went to this cabin and they managed to make a movie. There's a lot of movies like that in film school where you check them out, you know, like Primer or Evil Dead or El Mariachi, just Clerks, obviously. Is
yeah,
big
so
one.
those first directional kind of films or early director films that were just done on a shoestring budget or barely any budget.
That you're like, you too can make a terrible movie. And we did. Here comes the hand out of the dirt.
It's the stop motion Linda. I love how she deteriorates within a day.
Yeah,
He buried her like 24 hours ago, and now she's completely like
bad,
corpse bride.
The head rolling reverse.
I think, but that's what gives it such a
charm.
The charm. It's just like, oh, and now it's Jason and the Argonauts, but
Yeah,
with the naked
bit,
lady.
right?
Like, and it's like this crazy weird
well
dance
done.
sequence.
That's funny.
It's just, it makes me laugh. You can't not laugh at that. I mean, people are not. What I'm saying is, I don't think they were going for realism here. They knew what they were doing.
No, but like the thing is, it looks better than if she was CGI or something.
Yeah, but
You know
CGI in like what, 85? This film came 87.
There was none. I love that.
Slams him.
There's a lot of this movie too. Like Bruce Campbell talks about Sam Raimi just beating the crap out of him.
Absolutely.
Almost drowning him.
But that's himself. He's doing that to himself. One of my favorite scenes is when he does the flip.
Which
the
one's
plate.
that? Oh, right, yeah,
smashing
yeah,
it, and
yeah.
he does. I think that's all done in like one take.
Yeah,
But it just shows the commitment this guy goes for. Insanity.
Yeah, he really sells it.
He really does. I don't think the movie would have been as successful or as such a cult following if it wasn't Bruce Campbell. I feel like not a lot of actors would have been able to pull off this campy yet really well done yet not, like just this feeling of overdone B movie.
Yeah. I love that.
Smashing the head as his hands getting just you can't not laugh at that. That's
Smashing the book on it.
Oh my god.
It's so funny. He's just smashing the head.
Just
And then the cutaway where you can see it's like just her.
just
running
her
right
holding
behind
onto
him.
the hand as it just
Yeah.
See that I love the work shed because clearly, if you notice his lips, he doesn't actually even say it.
No, it's like an ADR line.
It's an ADR line that's just clearly because the audio is different because it was done like 9 years later.
Was it?
It was done a few years later.
But they did the post on it, or
I think so. I could be wrong, or maybe I'm wrong about. I know that when Bruce Campbell went and did L.A. Escape from L.A. or Escape from New York.
I think he's in. Which one is he in?
Anyways, one of the escape movies. Kurt Russell, first time he meets him, is literally shakes his hand and goes, "Say work shed."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't remember.
I love
that.
where's the chainsaw? It's the naming stuff. I love in this movie is the naming stuff. Work shed, chainsaw.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, one of the reasons why there's so much blood, different colored blood in this movie, there's like black blood, green blood, red blood, orange blood, is because they were afraid to get that X rating or
Yeah, that was like
unrated.
the thing back then. Like,
Yeah.
if you had red blood, it was like, oh,
It was too much, which is
too
funny
much.
now because this movie, I mean, I don't see it as really disgusting or like a lot of blood. I don't know. Even if it was just all red blood, it's not as gory as what we're used to seeing nowadays.
I guess so, but at the time. But even
course.
like black blood, that's even worse.
Well, the funny thing with the black blood is they were trying to avoid the X rating, but they ended up getting it anyways, and hence why they did the rosebud thing at the beginning. But
Right.
but I love how they tried to like, oh, let's cheat it by not showing all this different blood, but
Yeah.
it ended up not working. See she has like black shit all over her mouth. That's actually a
Yeah.
deleted scene where she spews out this black stuff at him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is like a great.
I know, it's a great cutaway, and you see the light, and everything's red. And
It works well.
Here's the funny thing: is it also means he cleaned the light, because he comes back in the shed afterwards, later on in the movie, and the light's
plot hole.
completely not red anymore.
Plot hole.
The movie's
Interesting
full
sort
of
of point of conversation is that they made this one for 3.6 million, then doing, Army of Darkness for 11 million right after that,
Well, Sam Raimi's intention for the sequel originally was supposed to be the Army of Darkness, like he goes back in time, but they didn't have enough budget for it, so hence why they decided to go this route.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the original plan was kind of that Army of Darkness, of what we see in Army of Darkness, but it was just they didn't get as much as they thought they were going to get, so they cut it down a little bit. And
Really?
became this, which I don't know. I don't know which one I like more. I feel like I like Evil Dead 2 more. It's
More
not
finished product.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about Evil Dead. Like, I love both of them. Both of them are great. Even the sequel itself, the Evil Dead sequel, I'm not a big horror fan either, but like, it really embodies some of the original stuff from the original film, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, right? And to contrast that even more, the first Evil Dead was made for 350 grand, which is like a lot of money when you say it out loud, but for a
No,
movie,
about the same budget as Halloween.
Yeah, for real. I wonder how much of that is like they started out with a little bit, I think, and then when they got to post and everything, it all ballooned out, as as everything does.
It's true. I don't know. That's more in the process. So this is, of course, where we're back to seeing Bruce Campbell's just craziness kind of taking hold of him.
Yeah.
You're trying to make stuff interesting with him being alone, and he throws that gun.
I love the fact that you can just make a whole movie. Like they just made a whole movie with one guy in a cabin.
And the funny, they could have done it. Screw Barbara Joe and I love this scene, the mirror scene.
It works well.
It works really well, and it's funny because he comes back in the sequel.
You can sort of see the timing doesn't fully work.
I know, slightly,
but it like. Have you seen the deleted scene in Terminator 2? With Linda Carter, or not Linda Carter, Linda Hamilton or whatever, and she's changing the thing inside of Arnold's head. Because she has a twin sister, right? So they built a mirror set so they could do that shot where she's digging in the head.
I did see that. I didn't know she had a twin sister. That's amazing.
Yeah, she has.
I mean, why not use that to your advantage?
You know, when you see later on, you actually see her like when it's the T-1000 and like she shoots her looking like that. That's not an effect. It's just two people. Yeah. I love that. The hand.
Yeah, the classic hand.
The hand that goes bad. My hand went bad. I have to cut it off. I love it's just him acting like he's just acting with his own hand.
It really does feel like
another character.
It's so well done. This is one of my favorite scenes, of course.
Yeah.
Because this comes in with the plate, right?
Yeah.
It just bastards. Give me back my hand.
I love that his like first reaction is to cut it off.
You gotta love that line. Give me back my hand. Oh, it's just so classic. I've seen this movie just
a ton of times.
Countless times.
This is where they're showing up.
That's where the original. Fun fact: Barbara Joe is actually based off of Holly Hunter.
Who is that?
The actress.
I don't know who that is. Oh, is that Ted Raimi?
Sorry?
That Ted Raimi?
Who?
The guy there.
No, Ted Raimi plays the grandma.
That's a Raimi there, isn't it?
I don't think so.
It looks like a Raimi.
I don't think so. Because Ted Raimi's in like a lot of Sam Raimi's films. Ted Raimi is Sam Raimi's younger brother, and he plays the grandma, or like the old lady in this film, in the fruit cellar that we will see later on.
Possessed Henrietta.
Yeah. See, what was his name? Dan Hicks. That's not even close to being a. My God, he looks different now. Holy crap. Yeah. Although, as you can see, Spider-Man 2, Darkman, Oz, The Great and Powerful, so all Sam Raimi films. So the guy has pretty much gotten his career from Sam Raimi.
Bruce Campbell shows up in Oz, doesn't he?
Does he?
Pretty sure he's like outside the gate. Like he has a quick like one-liner.
Oh, yes, he does. Yeah. He's one of the guards. You're right.
He shows up quick. I remember when that happened, I was really happy. I think I really didn't care about that Oz movie. It wasn't that great.
It wasn't bad.
When I saw Bruce Campbell, I was like, yeah.
That's the thing, is he can show up in anything, and he just makes the movie so much better. At least for people like us, who just, like, we've idolized this guy for, like, the longest time.
It's true.
But yeah, like I said, so Barbara Joe is actually based off of Holly Hunter, which is a famous actress, because he used to live with he used to housemate with Holly Hunter and I think the Coen brothers.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why there's some collaboration going on in the Coen brothers films with Sam Raimi. I think it's in Fargo, or is it the Hudsucker Proxy? But Bruce Campbell plays a soap actor, like on TV.
I don't know, man.
I love this scene. This is one of my ultimate. It feels so. Just keeps slamming it, but I love the audio because you can hear him grunting and stuff, but his mouth is closed.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, but his mouth's just.
It's classic like old ADR.
Oh, my tooth! You broke my tooth! Like clearly he's not saying the flip.
It's also like it's filmed in like whatever, like at 16 frames a second. So when you play it back, it looks sort of sped up.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
Has that like feel to it, right?
Slam on the.
There's a lot of that Sam Raimi does. Like he messes with frame rates, you know, like. He doesn't always shoot at 24 frames a second. Like he shoots, 20 frames a second, or like maybe he shoots at like 15 just to give that effect,
It doesn't look. It just. Like I'm sure it's not that hard to do, but he does it so well of the hand moving by itself.
Too, right?
I know,
and it's just clearly like two guys behind them pushing him.
I love the cleaver.
And then you just like put the camera on the ground on a bag and you just move it towards.
Just the camera work in this. I mean, it's Sam Raimi using his environment, and you don't need that much money.
Yeah, he just whatever he has, he makes work for him. Gets him.
Gets the hand, stabs it in the freaking hand.
Right in the Jesus spot.
That's awful.
Yeah, no. He's laughing out.
The lines. This is one of my. Have you ever started a chainsaw with your teeth?
Well, it's clearly that's the good one. I love how the blood that comes up.
I know. Blood everywhere.
If you had to cut your own hand off, that would ruin your day.
Oh, that would be
ruin
awful.
your day, Matt.
I feel like, it wouldn't be a great day, but I'm sure there's been worse days. What if you had to cut off both your hands?
Worst day of your life so far.
Exactly. So now we're on the subplot here with the other characters: Barbara Joe, Jake, Annie, and Blondie.
Blondie.
I don't know what his name is.
This guy.
Yeah, that guy. Mullet, blonde mullet, 80s man.
Like she's like a Girl Scout. Like she's dressed like she's going to the Girl Scouts for the weekend.
She's going to camp, man. She's going to her.
This guy carrying he's like a Sherpa.
Back to the cabin. The
This
clearly
massive cabin. The hand.
I love the hand. It's even the visual humor right here when he puts the books on is the Ernest Hemingway popular book, A Farewell to Arms.
Yeah.
On top of his
Yeah,
it's just
perfect,
you
yeah.
can't. It's just so well done.
Yeah.
It's like the little things sometimes you miss out. Like when I watched it the first time, obviously I wasn't barely paying attention because I was afraid that I'd be afraid.
Right.
But,
I love that it's moving.
Oh man. So here we are. It's it just I can't convey enough how well it works of just having the one actor. Like, okay, so then at this point, he kills his girlfriend, okay, and now he's slightly going crazy with the mirror with himself, okay, and now his hand's kind of possessed, okay, now he cuts off his hand, okay, like it keeps piling on.
Yeah,
but
it's true.
He's really selling it.
Cousin It style.
No, I'm sure Cousin It was. I think Adam Sandler.
Not Cousin It. What's the hand? Is it? No,
yeah, I think it's just It, isn't it?
No, it's the one with the hair. That's the Thing, isn't it?
Is it Thing? I'm pretty sure the Thing is from Fantastic Four, Adam.
You might be right.
Michael Chiklis. I love the laugh he does here, like.
It's so funny. He gives him the finger.
Oh,
Not the finger.
I mean, the reloading in this is pretty bad.
He's got in Army of Darkness. I don't know if it's so much in this one, but he's got the pocket of unlimited shells.
This one at one point, I think it's in this one. He shoots twice, reloads, and then shoots another time. Or I think early on
the
he
bullets
shoots.
don't work out?
It doesn't match. Classic blood. See, this is the reason why this was NC-17 or X-rated or unrated. All the blood. Apparently, there's even a greater cut of this. There's even more blood.
Really?
Like all the different colors of blood they put in, because I think you see it turn to black blood at one point, but yeah, it continues more than that. There's a lot more. I love how, like, I mean, we've all been cut ourselves with blood.
That time I cut my finger, remember how much blood I had?
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, he just got splashed with blood. Blood isn't exactly water-based, and yet, if you look on his clothes and his face, it doesn't really show that he's been covered in blood.
I guess.
Crack. Here comes the deer scene.
This
famous
part.
deer scene.
It looks so bad.
I know. This whole scene was pretty much based off of, they were playing around with the lamp. I forget who it was, but they were doing like a comedy bit, as you could see on the lamp thing, and they were just making it laugh.
Right.
Like a Popeye laugh with the lamp, just as a joke. And they're like, yeah, that'd be funny. Let's put that in the movie. And did this whole sequence of the furniture laughing at him.
That's awesome.
It's such a strange film.
It
like,
is.
it's such a strange movie.
But it's like, it's strange in the sense that you want to keep watching.
Yeah.
And you're into it. I don't know. There's strange where you're like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then there's strange where you're just like, did they mean to be this strange? You know?
Where this is where it would
Like
fall
Love
into.
Witch. I feel like when we watched Love Witch, I
There's
felt
some
like they
strange
weren't
stuff.
trying to be strange,
Exactly.
and then it ended up being strange.
Whereas this one, it feels a lot more deliberate of like,
Yeah.
you know what, this sounds really, really funny, or this sounds really dumb. Let's put it in there. So this is where we finally meet the rest of the cast. And we're, 35 minutes? So 35 minutes alone. Well, no, Linda dies about 5 minutes in, so 30 minutes. So he has a nice
true.
half hour of an hour and 20 minutes of just himself.
No, he's by himself, talking to himself.
And talking to himself. That's cast. That's cast.
There was a 10-hour video of that online.
Seen that one, yeah.
10 hours.
He's coming back, though. I hear he's coming back for the new Jurassic World, which I'm excited for.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Ian Malcolm. For anybody who doesn't understand the reference of the laughing.
I think they need to just make a movie with the dinosaurs. There's no people.
Just dinosaurs? But what are they attacking?
Each other. Like, it's just Battle Royale style.
But that's you could just watch a nature vid, like one
No,
of those Walking with Dinosaurs documentary.
They're having a scrap.
Yeah, Jake jumps on him because I believe
He gets in that top control.
I think it's because
This
he
guy
attacked
sucks
Joe.
at fighting.
Because it shot Barbara Joe.
He's got a full mount on him and he's still not winning. Guy's got one arm.
Guy's got one arm. Oh yeah, it's true, eh? I guess he's missing an arm. Forgot about that. If you notice, she looks shot, but there's like, where's the bullet hole?
On the top?
Sure, on the top, but like, why is she holding it?
I don't know, man. I've never been shot.
Have you not?
No, man. We
I
live in
feel-
Canada.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like,
Nobody gets shot here.
I mean, you grew up in a really dangerous place, though.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I mean, St. Andrews, like, that place is just full of murderers.
Just like, I had no
Criminals.
real neighbors. My closest neighbor was like 5 kilometers away.
Like, I don't even want to talk because I'm so focused on
That's the
this
thing.
movie.
I'm also tired, so
Right.
I didn't really get into it. This guy.
This Jakey guy. So there's a few inconsistencies from obviously this one. It's not a direct sequel to the other one for a few reasons. One of them is because in the first movie, that door gets blown out.
Right.
But I feel like Sam Raimi just doesn't care. Oh, God, that
That's
always
like
looks
Bruce
like it hurts.
Campbell, like, biffing a lot.
Jesus. Like,
I hope you rot down there.
I don't know how the hell they did him going down the stairs like that, but holy
I think that's a
shit.
little bit more of Sam Raimi, like, shooting strange frame rates. Like, maybe he shoots 20 frames a second, and then when
Either
you
way,
play it back at 20, then it has that look.
Great. And it looks real, and it feels
It
like
could be just Bruce Campbell talks a lot about just falling
maybe he
down
just
shit.
did, yeah. Maybe they just threw him down. Maybe they kind of cut the stairs a little bit so they would just kind of break as he goes down. But like it looks.
Could be made of
super
balsa wood or
painful.
something.
It looks painful. No. The demon I love that. It's just like, I know there's this demon passage. I'm just going to read it aloud right now and record it. Kanda.
Have you ever seen The Book of the Dead, the real one?
The real one?
Yeah, they did a tour of it. It came to Toronto. You can go see it.
The real book.
Yeah, there's a real Book of the Dead. Like, it's from Egypt. Like, it's a real thing.
Oh, that one from The Mummy.
Yeah, but it's like, it's just like an Egyptian thing. It's less of what it is in the movie. It's just more of like a document, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's less
Wait,
cool.
so if you don't read it aloud...
Nah, you could read it in the museum. They have a translation. You can read it aloud. You can do whatever you
I feel
want.
like that's calling attention to evil.
Nah, it's nothing happens, dude. You can go check it out.
Nothing happened so far.
There's like a mummy in the museum. You can go like hang out with the
I
mummy.
don't know. I'm not risking that.
It's like a cadaver. Like it's
Some
fucking
idiot
dead
that
body,
actually
like-
has some mystical powers or something. You know,
Bro, I did it. I went and read the shit. You can walk around the museum. Look at the mummy.
oh, I'm not doing it.
You have a mummified cat? Ah, that looks awesome.
So here we see finally Ted Raimi coming out as Henrietta, the I guess sorry, it's not a grandma, it's her mom, Annie's
Yeah.
mom. Fruit salad. I love the way he says it. Ugh. So apparently that suit was extremely well. One, it was one of like those heat waves where they were.
Oh yeah.
And that suit was insanely warm. I mean, it's warm already, and then this guy's
Had to wear this like
had
latex
to wear this thing,
suit.
so they had to essentially just drench out the sweat. Just take out the sweat and they put it in cups. I don't know why the makeup put it in cups, but they put all his sweat in cups and
Gross.
just collected it. And apparently there's a rumor that they actually played around
Oh,
with
cool.
and did a prank
When they poured sweat on somebody?
Ted Raimi, like at the end of the... God, that's freaking weird.
It's gross.
But yeah...
Yeah, it's biting his foot.
Ugh,
Do something.
like this...
I love the punch whack sound.
God damn.
And he's got the thing around him still.
Yeah, I mean, it's the eye pop. I love the eye pop.
It's just an example. Like, they use just the right amount of that suit.
See, you can see the cable.
The eyeball?
Yeah. The reverse cable. Yeah, you can see a little bit of the cable
Like
on
pulling
the
it out.
eyeball.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it so great. Wraps it around, right, back in this. But yeah, and I think later on when you see Ted Raimi flying, the crotch is ripped out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've always noticed that. I always thought, I was like, is that purpose? Like, why is it... Something's missing in the crotch area, like...
It's funny.
But apparently it's just because the suit ripped, I think. Yeah, no, it must have been disgusting to be in that suit. Like, I
definitely.
can't even imagine. Sam Raimi is just, I feel like, just awful to... Maybe not purposely, but sometimes purposely. I mean, he's doing it to his friend. Bruce Campbell's known him for a long time.
It's true. I could never get mad at Tim to do any of this shit. They complain about riding a tandem bike, for God's sake.
That's true. That's true.
It's too hard.
We'll be in a suit for hours,
Yeah.
Tim.
He couldn't. Like, I saw him in an actual, like, suit at Matt's wedding, and he didn't like it. We both were, like, itching our collar, like, it's strange for us to be dressed up.
Yeah, he's usually in his birthday suit.
I've seen him naked.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah. I had to save his life once.
What?
Yeah, he gets drunk and he passes out in the shower, and he passed out
Oh,
face down in the tub. Had to, like, kick him over, roll him over in the tub.
Classic Tim. Hopefully he doesn't listen to these podcasts.
Nah, he doesn't have that kind of time.
Yeah. Or care.
It's so creepy.
It is very creepy. So Henrietta's back to her normal self, singing. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. Like, why would you be enticed by that? Like, I know it's your mom and all, but you just saw the mom turn into, like...
I don't know, dude. I think it would work.
Would it?
Yeah, because you're removed, right? You don't know it.
I mean, I guess we don't know until it actually happens where a demon turns into your mother after eating, like, one of her eyeballs. So I guess it's just a time thing.
I was born in September.
Wow, you guys are so cool. And you guys should date. You should date Annie.
Maybe.
You guys are born in the same month. Years apart. Because his foot got bitten, eh? Blondie McBlonderson.
Oh, this shit. This is hilarious.
Like, the mouth doesn't even...
No.
Just stays open.
I think a lot of the voices it's like Sam and Ted and Bruce doing a lot of voices too.
Like we know from indie films, you just get your friends to do
It's true.
ADR in the end. Like, all right, let's do a bunch of zombies. All right, guys, come on in and we'll just groan a lot.
The makeup and effects, though, like, it looks awesome still, right? Like,
I mean, some of it. Like,
I don't know. I think it looks pretty dope.
I mean, Henrietta looks good. This one is done. I thought he died. Because
smashes him into the light bulb.
Blondie grabs him. You hear the crack of the neck.
Nah, man, maybe he just had had to crack his neck a bit.
But I thought he was dead. Like, I remember watching it. I always think he's dead. Like, you hear the crack and then he throws him up. And you're like, oh, okay, he's dead. No, he comes back. I always get mad at that.
Ha! Green blood.
And his head's back, if you noticed.
Yeah.
Like, first time we see the green blood. But again, this is because they didn't want to get that NC-17, whatever, unrated feel to it.
That's awesome.
Ugh. But yet, still not as gory as, like, things we've seen nowadays. Like, it's
true.
So tame. The back in the day, like, they would really unrate stuff really, like, really fast.
Walking Dead that's on TV now is gory.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even things like Supernatural. I mean, there's a lot of cutaways, but they do show some stuff, and it's just as bad as this.
Yeah, I think the society becomes desensitized, and
I think so.
Or maybe not desensitized. I don't know if I like saying that, but like the audience becomes like more educated, or like they treat them less like kids. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So maybe the reason for the rating back in the day was what they thought kids would watch this.
No,
or
it's 100% a church religion related thing.
The MPA? I don't think so.
Yeah, 100%, dude. The MPA and like the rating system in the United States is 100% an influence of the Catholic Church. It's just like prudes and people that didn't want to see sex. Because like European films, like they've always had nudity and sex.
Even you don't even have to go that far off. You can go to Quebec.
Yeah,
Quebec films have
they're a lot more liberal and free.
Very liberal and free, and it's like, oh yeah, this movie's like
just,
G.
Yeah, and it's not talked about as much. So, but for a lot of these films, it like they made it work in their advantage. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's the R-rated movie. You have to go see it because it's.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like as they say, I think the first film, Evil Dead. Isn't that the whole selling point? Like the most gruesome experience you will ever experience.
Exactly.
They play off of like this thing's gonna get.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you have the anamorphic lens on, like improper, or the diopter. That's how you get that effect.
It's a weird effect.
Yeah, it's just all an in-camera lens effect. Like it's very much just like moving something.
That was sounds, Jake. That's what the hell that was. I forget as to who had said it, but they did mention, like, I was reading up on it, and they said, yeah, if Annie was the one who discovered the tape, like, the movie would have been done in half an hour.
Right, yeah.
She would have just figured it out and, like, fixed everything. But the fact that you got Ash Williams, not Ketchum, being the main character in this, clearly the man is out of his depth. Thank you, Barbara Joe. We know it's in there.
She's way too good looking for him.
I know. I always thought that. Like, he's even short. Like, he's short and kind of, like, heavy set, and he looks older than her. And I don't know. Like, is it... Maybe it's his... Maybe they're playing off, like, the whole Southern thing. So maybe it's, like, his younger sister, which would be awful.
That's where you go with it?
Maybe. Or one of his cousins. I don't know. I mean, I never thought they had, like... At first, I was like, are they romantically involved? Or is it just, like, his, like, sibling? Because, I mean, they're never romantically involved, are they?
I don't know. I don't actually.
It just seems like it, but I know what you mean.
By
like,
that shot, yeah, it just seemed like they're
It just seems like it, but maybe they're just really close.
It's weird.
But yeah, because I know. I remember seeing, like, the age thing. I'm like, he looks a lot older than her, and then he's not exactly, like, the prettiest man.
Some would say he fell down the ugly tree.
And hit every single branch on the way down.
And fell into the ugly patch of leaves.
Okay, he's not that ugly. But
then he was hit by the ugly truck.
But I mean, I've seen that. I've seen that in real life. I've seen very attractive women going out with like men where you're like, man, how?
I saw it the other night at a bar. This guy was just like yelling at his like wife girlfriend. He was like 20 years old. He's like, "I'm the man, and you're the woman."
Oh, God, that's cringy. I love Bruce Campbell's cuts. They don't even look like cuts. It just looks like they just put the blood on, or like a just a set of paint on his face. I don't know. I always saw it that way. This scene has always bothered me.
Why? Like the ghost?
Yeah, the ghost. Cause like it's the ghost of her dad, of Annie's dad. It's just it always bothered me. I don't know. It just felt so out of it. I always felt it slowed down the movie a little bit. And
really,
yeah, I never liked it. I always thought I was like, get back to the cool stuff, you know?
Right.
But I mean, of course, it's
so he's kind of like laying out the exposition.
Yeah, exactly. He's Basil exposition really at this point. I love that. Like the name in Austin Powers, Basil Expedition, is literally because he's the exposition in the first film. And I love that.
It's making fun of Bond, basically.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It
goes to see M, and he's just like, "Here's your mission, Bond. Here's everything you're gonna have to do.
Everything you need to do. Everything you need to go do.
Now go get your gadget."
I'm not holding your hand. Oh, he does say baby, so okay, so they're definitely together. Oh, well, then, you know, it could be his daughter, but it'd be weird. I feel like the wrist got bigger.
Maybe.
Oh no! And that's where Barbara Joe's gone. So I guess she's one of the
gone now.
Yeah. Sorry, it's not Barbara Joe. Sorry, it's Bobby Joe. My bad.
Bobby Joe.
Yes. So of course this is kind of a continuation from the first one, from the incredibly graphic tree rape scene from the first film.
I don't remember that at all. That's weird.
No, yeah, like the trees like grabbed her and like started ripping her clothes off, and this like stump comes in. It's you're just like, oh, okay, a little too much, thank you.
Huh.
So this is what I feel like they grabbed that original thought and kind of downplayed it a bit more, right? Like they didn't want to go as graphic. And I feel like they're just like, yeah, you know what? People saw it the first time. I feel that their imagination's just going to go there anyways.
Maybe. Or maybe like somebody that like Dino De Laurentiis was like, don't do that.
Yeah, probably. Because I feel like people don't like that scene. It's an uncomfortable scene.
Yeah. So here's an example of like her having to act but on her own.
Yeah, exactly.
And she can't do it as well as Bruce Campbell can, you know?
I mean, how would you react if a tree's trying to... This part, it goes in her mouth.
Yeah, that's gross.
It's gross. Just fun scenes from the first film is like when they did that scene in the original with the original actress, she's running barefoot in the forest. So at the end, apparently, she just like her feet were all like
mangled,
ripped up and bloody. Oh God, that scene. So of course you can see like it started off kind of like, maybe she's gonna get raped again, but they switched it up.
Luckily she just got dragged through the mud
and ended up in a tree. Barbara Joe.
Smash the glass.
One of the original ideas too, after they decided they couldn't do the Army of Darkness for this one, was also Ash gets taken in by condemned prisoners in the cabin.
Oh yeah.
They take them hostage and they're looking for gold or something like that, looking for treasure. It's something along the lines of like that was one of the original ideas, which I'm like that. I don't know what. I feel like I would want to watch that, but
It's a neat idea, but
would it have the same impact as?
it did a
as-
different movie, just a 180.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's probably like a budget thing where they're like, we can't afford that.
Too many actors.
Too many actors. We gotta feed them. We gotta bring them out here. We need gold. We need to get
Like
jumpsuits for them.
clearly, you can see that it's him. Because of the fact that he's wearing the exact same outfit
Yeah.
as Bruce and a chainsaw.
Yeah.
But I love the line of when he says prophesies to get rid of the evil, and he's like, well, he didn't do a very good job, and it's just like emphasizing like, oh, well, it's actually because it's you, Bruce.
Yeah.
You are incompetent, sort of. I mean, I'm a big fan of Ash. Have you seen the new TV show?
I have not watched the new TV show. I heard it's quite good though.
I enjoyed. I haven't seen like all throughout the first season, but I've seen like a lot of it, and of course, it's not as great as the original films, but I mean,
It's him
It's
in
still-
it, right?
what?
It's him in
Oh
it.
yeah. He definitely comes back with the as Ash. It really continues right out from Army of Darkness. You know,
Really, eh?
30 years later, and it still has that great feel to it. There's something missing,
Okay.
but it's
I've
like
been meaning to check it out.
oh no, it's I enjoyed it, and of course it's really made for the fans. Like
Okay.
Sam Raimi, I think, directed the first episode as well.
Oh really?
He's a producer on it. Like
Yeah, I see that.
so it's still very much in collaboration with the original, people who brought our the favored
22 episodes, eh?
for the first season. Really? I thought it was less than that. Or no, that's all both of them, eh?
All together. Has a modern look, but just some of the things.
Yeah,
I've
Lucy
seen.
Lawless is in it.
Is she?
Yeah.
Well, because like the two of them were on.
Xena.
Xena
'Cause he
together,
played,
right?
forget his name, but yeah. There's a few TV shows that I've been meaning to watch with him, like Buck.
Thanks, Xena Warrior Princess. I'm not Xena. I'm Lucy Lawless.
What's that?
Simpsons, where she flies. Remember that?
I don't remember that at all. I don't remember The Simpsons all that much.
No. What's happening in the movie now, Matt?
Well, Jake is not happy because he's like, we're going to go out and find Bobby Joe. So he's forcing the other guys to essentially... Okay, the reason why Adam asked me that is because he left the room. He thought he was sneaky, but he wasn't so much. Are you going to go pee? I feel like you went to go pee. I feel like he does this a lot. I'm sure there's like every single podcast or every second podcast. He just, okay, Matt, just keep talking while I go get something to drink / pee / eat a sandwich.
If I ate a sandwich right now, I'd be so happy. Wouldn't you be happy? You ate a sandwich already.
I would eat another sandwich.
I know.
Maybe a Whopper from Burger King.
Our sponsor.
Check out our sponsor, Burger King.
And when they ask, do you want fries with that? You always say yes.
That's McDonald's.
I don't
Usually.
fucking know. I don't go to Burger King.
You don't go to Burger King? Dude, they make a great sandwich. For only two for $6, you can get 2 Whoppers for the price of 1 Whopper. And
I
a
think you
meal.
could do a Burger King copy ad having no
idea
Yeah.
of what they
So if
serve.
it's like Burger King's a sponsor, make something up. All of that.
Here comes the Evil Dead, coming to grab him again. Like, didn't he learn from Jurassic Park 3? Never yell. It's never a good idea. What's not a?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I don't even know the right line now.
that's okay.
Yeah, it's not like people who watch movies know these things. Come on.
I love that.
Bruce Campbell is back. This guy takes so much. Like, he doesn't die.
Who
what?
Who shot this?
Sam Raimi.
No, I mean, who was the DOP?
I don't know. Was it just him? Could have. I mean, it could just be Sam Raimi.
You think so?
I don't know. You can look it up.
Hold on, I lost the page. I love that.
So here we have the second time Bruce Campbell turns into the Evil Dead. There's another thing. The dagger is actually, I believe, the same dagger from the original, which looks like every single plastic dagger you can buy for Halloween as swords. I always thought it always looked like that.
Peter Deming. So what else has he done?
Peter Demings?
Deming?
Never heard of him. Then again, I don't know my DOPs.
Oh, he's done some stuff on Twin Peaks, and he shot Oz. So that's kind of interesting. Like
He brought him back.
he brought him back, right? So it's kind of interesting, you know. Like he did a ton of the new Twin Peaks. Cabin in the Woods. Have you seen that? Scream 4.
I did. Well, come on. Cabin in the Woods is pretty much the
He did Drag Me to Hell.
Cabin in the Woods is like a spiritual sequel of the Evil Dead franchise.
Oh, dude, he shot Mulholland Drive.
I've never seen that one.
From hell. So he clearly David what's his face? David Lynch saw this and he was like, I need to work with this guy, you know? Because he also shot Lost Highway rather.
I haven't seen a lot of. And then he did
Lynch.
Joe's Apartment.
Loaded Weapon. You ever seen that? That's hilarious.
I liked Loaded Weapon 1. I wasn't a big fan of Loaded Weapon 2 or 3
I
or
didn't
4.
know didn't know they made it a Loaded Weapon.
They didn't. They just called it Loaded Weapon 1 as a joke. See? Now Jake's been cracked neck, thrown up, hit a light, flew against a tree, hit his head, like blew out the tree a little bit, and gotten stabbed with this giant freaking skeleton sword, and yet he's still alive.
Maybe he stabbed him right in the right spot. I knew a guy that got handlebars right to his body, and he lived.
You know a guy like that?
Yeah, I knew it as a friend of a friend.
Oh, come on! Like clearly you can see he's not out of the door yet, Annie. Come on, Annie.
This director of photography, he went on to have like an amazing career.
Why wouldn't you? I like the photography in this film.
It looks great. Like that's why I was sort of wondering if he managed to like have a career after that. You know,
he's made such random movies. My Cousin Vinny, Drop Dead Fred, Joe's Apartment, Mulholland Drive, Scream 2.
Drop Dead Fred's a weird movie.
Never seen it. I know it's weird.
Movie.
Like that guy's still alive. Like, and he's not even like, you know, mostly dead or mostly alive. Like he's full on like ready to. He's still talking, like, you know what I mean? Like usually if you get stabbed, it's mostly like that blood coming out of your mouth. Like I don't got much left in this world.
Right. I've never been stabbed.
Never been stabbed either, man. What kind of world you been living? Never been shot? Never been stabbed? You gotta live a little, Adam.
I'm soft, Matt.
Live a little. What happens if you go to jail?
I'll get fucked.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, you don't want that. You seen the movie Get Hard? The whole movie is like my life. But I was like the person that was already tough. I was like the end. You know, I'm end of the movie Get Hard. I'm already hard.
It makes no sense at all.
Know.
You're hilarious.
Yeah, well.
So he's dragging this guy.
No, she's dragging. And he's
it's
dragging
terrible for
Jake.
your back what she's doing.
I know the way she was doing it. Yeah, it's. You think he had insurance on the actors?
There he is.
Finally, Jake gets his due. Henrietta finally takes and kills him, and then that blood's gonna
drag
come
him
gushing
into
out.
the basement.
That's a cool shot.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Just
Going into the basement.
going.
Oh, the blood looks so great.
No,
How did they make it fire out like that fast? Do you know?
I don't
They
know.
must have just had a pump and like a big tank of it.
Pressurized pump? It would have to be pressurized.
Like, it has to be like gas powered, like out there, you know?
Like, look, she was covered in blood.
Yeah,
And now she
like,
barely has any. I love the consistency of blood in these films.
he's gonna break her back like Bane style.
See, now her blood is gone.
Yeah.
There's
The
barely
inconsistency
anything.
is pretty bad.
Yeah,
The makeup looks awesome.
it really does. One of the things with contacts is they can't see anything.
No, tell us about it, man. You wore some contacts.
I did wear contacts, and fortunately, I could. I love that the skull, like
it
looks
forms a skull.
It's just the little things. But sorry, so I did wear contacts for a movie once, and it hurts a lot.
Yeah.
It sucks putting them in, but at least I could see. In this, I can't even imagine what contacts looked like back in the 80s.
Right.
And let alone the ones they used for the first movie, but they can't see anything with those things. So they white out. They couldn't actually see anything, so they had to like rehearse a lot due to the fact that they had to rehearse where they were going and
because they can't see
they couldn't
anything.
see. I believe it's in the first one, but the woman, the actress who I think was playing Linda, she couldn't see, and of course, so he went to her. He's like, just start going at it with this knife, which was actually a real knife, because they didn't have a prop knife. And then he goes to Sam Raimi. Goes to Bruce Campbell, and he's just like, yeah, just try not to get hit.
Really?
Apparently. So it's just, I think it's just funny and hilarious and really dangerous that nothing bad actually happened.
It's funny. On a movie I did a while back, we did something similar like that where it's like somebody had to get stabbed, and we just put like a padding that gets stabbed.
Yeah.
In front, we put like an aluminum plate, but like somebody just, because we didn't have a real prop knife, it was a dull knife, but like it had to stab in, and just, that's all it was.
Brock and I did that too for a music video where we put a phone book on them, and we're just like, all right, just go crazy and start stabbing the phone book.
Yeah.
Where the chest is, and hopefully the thing stayed on, because that could be dangerous.
Yeah, for real, right? You don't have a body double or anything, like. But
yeah, I mean that's the other thing with low budget films and indie films is you don't have the money for stunts.
No, you gotta accidentally kill your friend.
Or at least try to do it as safe as you think you can do.
Which is never safe,
See,
really.
like,
He's cleaned the light. That's what you're saying.
He cleaned the. I love this. It's the little close-ups. It's very Edgar Wright.
Well, yeah, I think Edgar Wright
like you can very feel
a lot of this.
Edgar Wright definitely started after.
I watched was it Hot Fuzz last night, and like there's a clear influence,
Really?
Oh,
So here's a fun fact: is the smoke coming from the chainsaw it was a tube run through the chainsaw with Sam Raimi off screen blowing cigarette smoke down the barrel, so it would reach this, just to make it seem like it's a real chainsaw.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's those little
Right?
things
It's
you
just the
gotta
little
do.
things of just like how do they get to do this, or how is this made, or how is this specifically, how they pulled it
really
off.
Cool.
I feel like that tree is where most of their budget comes in.
Yeah.
Like that tree is gigantic, and I feel like that's really expensive to make. I mean, I don't know how to make that. Do you? Do you know how to make a giant puppet tree animatronic
No, dude, no.
on the cheap?
No. Why are they going down there?
The pages.
Oh, right.
They need the pages to read. Again, like I said, Annie would have done this thing in no time.
Right.
She was just been like, oh, there are the pages. I could probably figure this out, read this, while, instead of... Because, I mean, there's a lot of time wasted of them trying to save people or, trying not to kill Bruce Campbell. Like,
Right.
there's just a lot. Yeah, so as you can see that smoke.
Again, it's just a tube?
It's just a tube. And you can kind of see this at this point. It looks like cigarette smoke.
I guess, but smoke is smoke in a film, right? Like...
But it's just you don't notice it until someone tells you, yeah, no, it's just Sam Raimi blowing cigarette smoke down a
smoke out
tube.
your ass.
Who comes up with that?
I don't know. I've definitely seen like lit cigarette like in the barrel of a gun in movies. To get that
Really?
shot. Yeah, that's
So
kind
maybe
of
that's
common.
that's probably where they got the idea from.
Just because
and
a
then-
cigarette has like a very like wispy, like very like fluid, nice looking smoke that you use quite a bit. Or you'll burn a cigarette on black to use the wisp, and then so you can composite that into a shot. So, like because it's a very like organic, nice looking smoke, you know.
Well, I'm gonna just pick up smoking so I can do better films.
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's
Film
that's.
industry.
If you want to be a filmmaker and you want to get cool shots, start smoking.
That's what it was.
This is this is now we're now sponsored by Marlboro.
No, man, we got to keep it Canadian players.
Players, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Sailor players, there, bud.
I like the orange ones.
Can you give me a pack of player there and the what is the cigarette there, guy?
It's just a corner store, really. Just a corner gas.
Fucking hack a couple darts there, dude.
Just give me a pack of smokes, a couple players.
It's got the skeleton.
Skeleton. At least it's not a real skeleton. Maybe it is, but it's not like the Poltergeist. In Poltergeist, they used real skeletons. 'cause
Really?
It was cheaper.
That's fucked up, dude.
That's something Spielberg kind of regretted doing.
You ever heard the rumor that Spielberg actually directed that movie?
I did not.
So the guy who directed it, I forget what his name is, but like
I want to say Joe Dante, but I don't think so.
yeah, it sounds sort of familiar. But that guy, apparently, like Spielberg was directing another movie the same year. I think it was E.T. And the Directors Guild wouldn't let him direct 2 movies in a row or 2 movies in
Oh.
the same year. And it was like, so he's like a producer and he has like a heavy hand in.
Yeah.
And
But he has a heavy hand any time he produces, though.
True, but sort of like the like word from set, word from people like around the movie was that they sort of just made a deal like, hey, you're gonna get credit. I'm gonna do a favor for you down the way because that director had a good career after that.
Right.
But it was Spielberg that directed the movie. Like a lot of people like remember just that guy was on set, but like a lot of people remember just Spielberg was like, do it
Spielberg
this
was
way.
the one.
Yeah, can you like maybe do another take like this? You know.
Interesting. It's kind of like Joel and Ethan Coen,
Right.
where for the longest time, I think it was Ethan, I forget which one, but because they only allowed for one direction credit.
Right, with some of the early Coen Brothers
yeah,
stuff.
so they would both direct it, and yet only one of them. See,
One of them
look
would
at
get
that. If you see in the shot, the crotch is completely missing. You can kind of see he's got red something in.
That's gross.
I always noticed that. I was like, what the hell's wrong with the crotch?
Bruce
But
Campbell's in great shape for this, by the way. Like he looks awesome.
I think he even he bulked up, I think, for this movie just to be more action hero type compared to the first one. Here comes the limbs flying, I think, isn't it?
Maybe. It looks so grody.
No. Ted Raimi again. Oh, just look at the chainsaws. It's wobbling.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell it's Ted Raimi every once in a while.
That's really cool. Just that transformation into it.
It's
the
cool,
head.
and yet it still has that B movie. Like it's very Argonauts, you know? What I mean?
Yeah.
Like, stop motion, and I think that was the point. Like the God, like it definitely.
Also,
that's,
like Bruce Campbell is just like, this is obviously composited shot, right? Like
yeah, he's just playing to nothing, really.
Anytime you see like the grain changes, you ever notice that when it goes to one of those composited shots, like you can see it's like grainier and darker.
I never noticed that.
Like when it cuts to like it's him acting with a claymation shot, like it just gets a lot grainier.
Ugh. It's the limbs. Limb. It's so cool and yet so. I like it.
This thing.
Ugh.
The sound of a
like
balloon.
the sound of the balloon, yeah. Famous line: "Swallow this. head just explodes. Oh,
It's awesome.
so cool. Very cool.
Such a good shot.
And then the flip into the holster. No? Yeah, there we go. Click.
Classic.
So good.
Hail to the king, baby.
Groovy.
You know, I played Duke Nukem before I watched any of those movies, and I just assumed Duke Nukem was the one
the
that
originator.
the originator of all, like Hail to the King and all
Groovy
that.
and-
Groovy
yeah.
and all that. And
No, it's all taken. Isn't he just like a complete ripoff of all like
action movie guys.
Because there's Roddy Piper from They Live, who has
that kick-ass chew bubble gum.
yeah.
and all
There's that
yeah.
one. Like just a bunch of stuff. I remember watching the movie for the first time. Like I'm like, oh, the movie's over now. Like the big monster's defeated, perfect, and then the big giant tree arrives. I was like, oh yeah, right. I forgot about that.
It's the Lord of the Rings ending.
The Ents are pissed off. They're just destroying that set. Like here comes the actual like money coming in.
Yeah.
Let's destroy everything.
It's also having the sort of vision to be like, okay, if we do this shot, then this shot, then this shot, we can kind of cut that together, you know?
Yeah.
And like him in the house, it's just like, okay, go left, go right, and then he's just shaking the camera, you know?
Why did you only complete the first of the passage, Annie? Why didn't you just do the whole thing? If you knew it was going to turn the thing into flesh or bark or whatever, you feel like you would have hurried up and done the second passage.
Yeah.
Damn it, Annie. Damn it, Annie.
You have to say the thing.
It's such a... I remember just watching it the first time, and of course, it's such a weird ending.
Yeah.
Like, needless... Oh, there's the giant tree face thing, the Evil Dead. I love the flowers and him seeing... What is with that? It's like the supernatural beings and this...
See the grain?
I do see the grain, yeah. You're right on that. What I'm saying is, you ever notice that in movies and stuff? You always notice that they always grow like a streak of white.
Oh, she got stabbed.
She did get stabbed by a handy.
What do you mean a streak of white?
Well, if you look at his hair, he's got a white streak now.
No, it's just it took them so long to make the movie. Bruce Campbell was aged.
That's not how it works. But you see that like in stuff where people will get their hair white of due to like supernatural reasons or due to like of so
I guess
scared.
it's like a hair color is an easy thing to recognize that what's going on. Like, you know what I mean?
I did read up on stuff like obviously not as extreme as this, but apparently like due to like stress, like extreme stress or extreme like fear, your hair could turn white.
Really,
for a specific amount of time, and it can go back. But like, it's interesting. I don't know as to
I
like.
thought your hair turning gray or white is just like a lack of pigment or something like that. Like it's just.
I don't know. I mean, ask Steve Martin. That guy's got white hair for like the longest time.
True. It's true.
So Annie's dead.
She's
Every
dead.
single character is dead. I
All
love the head
people-
that pops out. Ugh, it's just so
gross.
nasty.
It's really nasty.
And then he gets the eye in there. Like, this is... It's such a... Ugh. Now here we got
That's
the blue blood.
It looks like laundry detergent. There's the car.
There's the car, the tree. Here comes the monster. Reverse.
all the
The door
reverse shots.
closes too. Like, there goes
That's
the
great.
money.
Greg Nicotero.
And back to barely any blood.
Right. Yeah.
I love that. I love just the faking of like, yeah, I know he's covered in blood, but next scene, like, it's just too much trouble. Like, let's just give him a little bit, just a tiny bit of blood. Here comes the oven through. It's still, I feel like that part still holds up.
It's not bad, eh?
Like, there's so much you can do, but like that toaster. Here we go.
Everything's
He's
blowing
getting sucked
away.
out, and the
classic,
board.
yeah, it's great. Do they have like a wire holding him up, or was it just two guys grab his feet quick,
I don't know. It's possible they could have.
strung him up?
Yeah, they must have strung him up. Or I mean,
And he falls into the abyss.
they had the money to do wires, I'm sure. The classic back and forth, old school. It's not as bad as RoboCop, the one with like the giant arms. You ever notice that?
I don't remember that.
No.
No.
I love the flip and the noise.
Pretty bad, eh?
I like it. It's so campy. Like,
He drops his car.
Like, the amount of damage this car has taken. I don't think that's the actual car though, but the damage that this car has actually taken over the years. I know Bruce Campbell talks about it in his book a little bit about like they hated the car and they were actually trying to destroy this car, and Sam Raimi would always just repair it and like, oh yeah, no, it's my car again, like it's fine. Like clearly the budget shows here with like
with all the night equipment. Yeah, eh? I kind of forgot about this. I thought you only saw this at the end of the.
No, well,
start of
there's some
the third one.
inconsistencies. There's some inconsistencies from this because in this one, as you can see, like the Deadite comes flying in, and he shoots it, and then they all praise him, right?
Okay.
Like the picture that's drawn. But in Army of Darkness, it starts like he's already like a slave, and that scene doesn't happen till much later.
Yeah.
So again,
true.
it's just Sam Raimi just not giving a shit.
But just changing what he wants
Just
to change.
changing it so it makes sense for like the next movie or what works like story wise, and going, yeah, whatever. Will people notice? Maybe. What if they don't? I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
Just that guy's head looks weird.
Yeah, his helmet clearly doesn't fit properly.
It just looks like there's a piece missing. Like all these helmets, that's like. Sure, it must have cost a bundle, but it's
that's
not.
Ted Raimi there, isn't
yeah,
it?
that's Ted. No, that's Sam Raimi. That's
Oh,
Sam
Sam.
Raimi. Yeah, that's Sam Raimi right there. Hail! See, like they're all hailing him, and yet Army of Darkness starts off where he's like, he's being dragged as a prisoner.
Yeah.
So it's just. It doesn't make sense. So like all the movies aren't even sequels to themselves. They're almost just slightly.
Like I said, like they just sort of remake the thing.
Yeah, they're a sequel remake. Just remakes some of the parts so it just makes sense for the next one.
Oh, there you have it.
There you have it. Evil Dead 2. Classic.
Sam Raimi.
So how many times have you seen this?
This will probably be the third time I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
What is your thought on Evil Dead 2?
It's one of those movies I do like to throw on every now and then, even if I don't fully pay attention to it, just have it in the background or throw on commentary sometimes. Maybe not the commentary all the time, but just, and like look back on it as just like one of those movies like in, like it's just like, oh, that's what they did. If you ever want to get inspired, like every now and then I'll throw on El Mariachi and like, want to get inspired about making indie film or something like that.
I have listened to this. I've watched it a few times for myself. And I've definitely listened to the commentary of this as well. I don't listen to a lot of commentaries, Adam, so it says something of how much I like a movie if I'm willing to listen to the commentary.
I love the commentary.
There's just something about, I don't know, like this one is just it's a fun commentary because they're just making fun of like the stuff that they noticed later on.
Right.
Like that's how I know about the set. I never noticed it until they're like, oh yeah, and there's the end of the set right there, and I was like, oh yeah.
That's funny. It's one of those things you notice in post. There's a lot of that on our movie that I see, and
You're
I'm
just like,
oh,
son of a
there's some
bitch.
shit.
There's a shadow of the tripod just sitting
Exactly,
right there,
right.
like in the actor's view.
Yeah, overall, like it's fun. Like it's a fun movie. If I had watched it maybe when it came out, I may have not liked it, but
Really?
with seeing it through the lens of film school and like, you know, like having that preface, that's where I was like, oh, neat. Like they managed to do this. Like, and here's how they did it.
Yeah.
That's where the commentary or behind the scenes comes in a lot with these movies. Just seeing what they did, seeing how they did it, seeing how you could maybe apply those techniques on your own flick.
Yeah,
you know?
I can see that watching some movies. I mean, I've never really gone to film school, and most of the stuff I've learned is just by simply watching movies and going, you know what? That doesn't seem like that hard of a thing to do. Or, you know, like, how do they do that? Or you watch a lot of, like, behind-the-scenes stuff, and you're just like, oh, that seems pretty simple for a shot, you know? So that's kind of how I learned this stuff. But I have a love for Evil Dead 2 because of the fact that this thing, I remember clearly when the first time I watched it and what it did to me of going, you know what? like, are all horror films like this, or can they be? Like, maybe they're not so scary, you know? Maybe that you can have fun.
There's the fun horror.
Exactly, and there are obviously some scary films, but this one, I love this.
North Carolina,
Special thanks
that's where they
to
filmed
investors of Evil Dead 1 is also through Lulu's Lingerie. Rippy Oldsmobile.
Fake Shemps. The amazing voice of Willie.
Sequel to that's what it was. The ultimate experience in grueling terror. That's what they called the first one. And I don't know. I love it. And hopefully people listen to this love this movie as well.
All right. There you have it.
There's the Rosebud again. I don't think we ever see it again. Like,
Game over, man. Game over.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Lost Commentary, on Instagram at Raiders of the Lost Commentary, and like us on Facebook.
I'll be back.